All right, once again, in for another rude awakening. Okay, women don't want to know anything real or serious about you. This is going to turn them off. Anything real, anything serious, any kind of meaningful conversation or communication. Now, this is also super cool because we have added almost 100 members to our community over this past week. I've been helping them learn, understand, and master the language of women. We are now at over 1,590 guys inside of that process seeing this. I want you to join us inside of that after today's video is over because I know just how much this can actually help impact your dating life. Let's dive in, okay? When I say women don't want to know anything real or serious about you, fair warning, this is probably going to bring up some past painful memories that you have had about your past relationships. But here's the thing that you have to know and the thing that you have to remember. The only way that you grow is if you're able to self-reflect. So the biggest misconception that modern men have been led to believe is these things right here. They tell themselves that being vulnerable, building chemistry, and allowing somebody to get to know you will strengthen the bond of the relationship. This is the biggest misconception that most men have been fed because this right here is all false. All of these things are completely false. I'm going to make this very easy for you. I'm going to make this very easy for you to understand. The more a woman gets to know you, the less she likes you. The more she gets to know you for you and who you actually are and how you actually think and how your past has unfolded with real life circumstances, the less she likes you. And I'm going to explain why. This is going to make a lot of sense when I come full circle with this topic at the end of this presentation. So women fall in love with the guy they don't know anything about, not the guy they know on a deep level. Okay? Women fall in love with the mysterious man that they do not know, not the guy that they do know. So you need to start to do the opposite of everything you were taught. Okay? Literally the opposite of everything that you were taught. Women pull away once they know you. Okay? Once they know you on a deep level and they feel like they have you figured out. Here's the thing that you have to remember, okay? If women feel as if they have enough information where they can come full circle of knowing exactly who you are, this is going to be the countdown to the end of the relationship. So keeping everything shallow, keeping everything mysterious and at a surface level only is needed in order to maintain her desire and in order to maintain her attraction level. So here's what you're going to find. Here's what you're going to figure out, okay? Deep conversation about real topics with a woman only signals desperation and a need for companionship. I'm going to say that one more time because that is a brutal truth that you have to learn and you have to understand, okay? Stick with me. Deep conversation about real topics with a woman only signals desperation and a need for companionship. So I'm here to tell you this one thing. Never go into deep or logical conversation ever when you're on a date or when you're seeing a woman, okay? The real player that she actually fantasizes about feels no need to ever explain himself. Think about that for a second. The real player, the guy that she actually likes, the guy that she actually wants, feels no need to ever explain himself about anything. So I'm going to tell you this, keeping everything surface level and never revealing any super personal information about yourself, your past, or how you view the world, guess what that's going to do? I'm here to tell you. Think about this at a deep level with me, okay? Keeping everything surface level, okay? The reason why this is needed is because women's emotions, okay, are opposite to your logic, okay? So what that means is you need to conceal, okay, how you feel and how you think. You need to not reveal it. You need to not reveal any personal information really about your past when communicating or even how you think or how you really view the world, due to the fact that this is going to turn her off, and I'm going to show you why. Since women's emotions are opposite to your logic when dating, okay, here's what you're going to notice. When you do this, okay, when you conceal how you feel, when you don't reveal your interest level, when you keep everything surface level, she's going to naturally go, oh my gosh, we have such an amazing connection. Even though in your mind, you're going to feel like you don't have one at all. Okay? Women only feel a strong connection to you when you do not feel a strong connection to them. So let's look at everything right here in this column. Women will only feel a connection to you when it seems like you don't have one with them. Okay, so here's what you're going to notice. You will notice this right here. Every woman in your life where you've said one of these things or a combination of all three of these things, if you've said anything like, wow, we have so much in common. Wow, we get along so well. Wow, our connection is so strong. They've probably all left you. Anytime any of these thoughts go through your mind, we have a great connection. We have so much in common. This is going so well. Wow, I have a real life companion. I have somebody I can share stories with. I have someone I can talk about the day with. I have someone who I can reveal everything to and wear my heart on my sleeve. Anytime that you've done this, they've probably all left you. Women's attraction fully dissolves once you stop remaining mysterious. When you stop remaining mysterious, she starts to lose desire for you. What does that mean? That means her love for you only grows in time apart. Her love for you only grows when you're not there. Her love for you only grows when she doesn't know if she gets to see you. Her love for you only grows if she doesn't necessarily know how you feel about her. That right there is what you have to know. They've probably all left you if you've done the opposite to what I'm talking about. You have to keep everything surface level. You cannot reveal anything about your personal life or how you feel or how you think. The good news for you later on in this video is you're going to see exactly why this actually makes dating way easier and why you have to put in way less effort to get way more results. But stick with me. This will make sense. Here's what you're going to find. If you've said any of these things, wow, we get along so well, you'll notice they've probably all left you and women's attraction fully dissolves once you stop remaining mysterious. What does that mean? That means in order for her to love you, she needs a challenge. She has to have a challenge. She has to wonder why you're not trying to talk to her. She has to wonder why she doesn't know if you necessarily like her or not. Men who expose, who they are and how they feel to a woman will end up having low dating value in her eyes. If you expose how you think, how you act, how you are, and how you operate, she literally thinks that you have low dating value and that she's the best that you can do. And that's naturally going to turn her off. So let's look at this column over here. You might be listening to me in this video. You might be hearing this and you might be sitting there going, well, what do I talk about then when I'm with a woman? If I can't talk about me, if I can't talk about my life, if I can't talk about how I am or how I think, or I don't want to give her any personal information about me, okay, what can I talk about? Okay, here's a side note, okay? Those of you who have bad social skills or you tell yourself you have bad social skills, you're going to love this, okay? Because this is your strength, not your weakness. You just have to see it from a different angle, okay? You're going to talk about nothing deep or meaningful. You will only talk about what you're doing and what's going on around you, okay? You will only talk about what you're doing currently as you're with her and what is going on around you. The vibe, the scenery, the senses, the feelings that you get about the thing. Okay? This will make sense in a second. You are going to have a good vibe with her only about the things you're doing. I'm going to explain this in just a second. Stick with me. Okay? This is the simplest thing you will ever need to know. At dinner, if you're on a dinner date, you will talk about the food and the vibe of the city and the location, and that's it. If you are outside, you will talk about the beautiful sunshine. If you're by the ocean, you'll talk about the amazing waves. If you're outside and there's music, you will talk about the music, okay? You will only talk about the things that you guys are doing and what is going on. And even though she doesn't know anything about you, if it puts her in a good mood and she feels good around you, now guess what's going to happen? She's going to enjoy your presence. And now she's going to feel like she knows you, even though she doesn't know anything about you. And that is how a woman starts to fall in love, through the feelings that she gets when she's around the man. And you have to be fully present in the moment to do that. You can't be talking about the past. You can't be talking about anything in the past about your life. You start revealing personal information about yourself. It's all vibe and feeling in that exact moment of what you're doing. This is the easiest thing in the world, okay? Always surface level and the vibe, and that's it. If you're watching a movie and there's a cartoon character on, I will tell her that a cartoon character kind of looks like her, and then she'll laugh, right? Even if It doesn't at all, obviously. Okay, small stuff like that. The more you keep it simple, the more you keep it surface level, the more she's going to fall in love with you. The more you start talking about your past and you reveal real information about yourself, the more she thinks that you have low dating value. So you'll see a woman for a year sometimes. You'll start dating a woman. You'll notice, wow, we've been dating for a year and she knows nothing about me. I have had this happen. I will wake up and I'll go, oh my gosh, I've seen this woman for almost a full year and she doesn't know anything about me. She comes over and we hang out. That's about it. We go do something. We're not talking about anything, but she feels like she knows me. And that's all she needs to keep her imagination stimulated of what I might be thinking about. It's very amazing and it's the easiest thing in the world. A lot of men just think this needs to be way more complex than it is, and it really doesn't. Serious or real conversation with a woman says, yes, you're on my level and I'm on your level. That's why we're having a serious conversation, because we're at the same level of communication. Here's what you're going to find. Now there's no discrepancy in SMV. There's no difference in dating value. Now she doesn't look up to you and now she doesn't like you. Now women's hypergamy wants better. Well, you might be saying, well, Casey, what is better? Better is a man who isn't willing to communicate with her. Better, okay, what is better? This would be men at or above her current level of attractiveness, but preferably above. She wants to find the men who have very high dating value. So when you have real conversation with her, she thinks that she's better than you, even if you have every single materialistic status-driven metric on paper. So you're like, whoa, I'm 6'7" and I have $20 million and I have a mansion and I have a sports car. Now I get to have serious conversation with her and break all the rules. And the sad truth is you don't, because women only care about how you act. She only cares about how you act. She only cares about how the man acts from an internal level once she gets to know you. So as she gets to know you, if she sees that this man's super willing to communicate, she naturally thinks he has low dating value too. Another huge lie that most men have been led to believe is that being high status or high value on paper equals high dating value, and they're not correlated. So keep that in mind. So what does this mean for you? You might be listening to this and you might be saying, well, Casey, where do I go from here? What's next? What does this mean for you? The first thing is this. You have to accept the fact that everything you've been taught about women for probably your whole life is completely wrong. But what's the good news? The good news is this. With this new information, it is far easier than ever before to get laid or to even have a girlfriend. It's far easier now than it ever has been for you to generate real attraction. Think about this. You're so worried about what to say when you're talking to her and all this, okay? And now that you know that you can literally just sit back and talk about the vibe and the scenery, and you talk about what you guys are doing together, and that's it. You don't have to go into any deep or meaningful or logical conversation. Do you know how easy and how amazing that is? With this new information, it's easier than ever to start the process of actually having a girlfriend. Think about it. You get to put in less effort, less work. You get to communicate less. You get to ignore phone calls and text messages. You get to literally do less. And she wants to sleep with you more? Do you realize how amazing that is? At this point, I only recommend that you do one thing. You start realizing that this is the key and this is the secret to getting treated better in all of your relationships. And on top of that, I advise you to do one thing. You need to start the process of joining us inside of this community where I help you learn, understand, and master the language of women. And here's why. Not only are we very close to 1,600 members, we're not quite there yet, but we are very close. I have been showing guys this process, and I have been getting so many good reviews of guys saying how much they like it. So many guys have been commenting in there saying how much this is helping their dating life and all that kind of stuff. And they have been giving me a bunch of real life examples of how all of these step-by-step processes have been playing out in their dating life for the better. So this is what I can tell you, okay? Think of it this way. If you are watching my content that I put out for you, okay, and you're sitting there going, wow, this makes a lot of sense. Wow, this totally makes sense. I understand this. If you like what I'm talking about in my content, if you align with the beliefs that I'm showing you inside of my content, I want you to close your eyes and imagine just for a second, and imagine how in-depth I go when you actually have my real step-by-step process inside of the language of women. Imagine just for a second how much detail I have put in to that process. If you think that this stuff that you're watching on my channel is good, I want you to imagine just for a second how good the material is inside of that process, inside of my community. And that right there is why I want you to join, because I know that by the end of it, your dating life, you will never look at your dating life the same way again for the rest of your life. You will start to see your dating life and you will see attraction from a new lens. You're going to realize so many different things that nobody ever showed you. And because this is my life's work, because I've been doing this for years now, I actually know in my heart of hearts just how much I can help you. And that right there is why I want you inside of that. Hit that like button, you comment and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.